etc. podcast.
First episode of the etc. podcast. I'm Ben.
I'm Jake.
I'm Will.
Alright, so we're going to get straight into it. The first thing we're talking about today is NIL deals for college athletes and how we feel about it. So, how y'all feel about it? Y'all like them or not really?
Nah.
Why not?
I mean, I really think it takes away from, the aspect of college sports. And, it really doesn't make a difference of, their overall goal is to get to the league and make the money. Whereas now they're getting paid coming straight out of high school when they haven't earned anything yet.
Yeah, and I also...
But what you say not earned anything yet? They did. They earned a whole college scholarship.
Exactly, which is what they're earning a free education. But that's not.
Yeah.
I feel like it's becoming more than that.
Alright, so the reason I don't like it is because I feel like now you have kids that are solely going to different schools just because of their money.
Did Travis Hunter have an NIL deal?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they think he's going to get $1 million.
Yeah,
For
and Caleb Williams at Eastern Michigan offered him $1 million as a 20-year-old to go.
Yeah. So the thing that I don't like about it is for all of the small schools, right? And
Yeah.
there was a time in football where smaller schools could become good, right? If they weren't good, and it wouldn't take that long. But now you have schools that aren't good that have losing records, right? And instead of having players that'll come there, now those players won't go there because they can make more money.
Paid, yeah.
They can make more money at a bigger school.
Whereas in 2005, Reggie Bush got his Heisman revoked because he got paid under the table to go to USC. Whereas now it's just anybody can do that.
Yeah, I mean, with the Tennessee thing and the Happy Meal thing,
Yeah.
It's almost it's better because now they don't have to hide it.
Yeah.
But now it's just ruining what college football is all about. College football has always been
The college experience.
Yeah.
It was high school on a whole nother level.
and it's kind of that's why I have always liked college sports, is because it's not about the money, right?
Yeah.
It's about your team, your state, you're representing.
Yeah.
But now it seems you're going anywhere you can make the most money.
As of now, it's an actual job, whereas it should just be you're going to college and you're playing this sport where you can then go professional if you're good enough.
Yeah, but I'm not complaining because in 2023 that NCAA game coming out.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm excited for that shit.
Yeah, so there's definitely two sides of it. I mean, I think we're all excited to, get to be able to play that game again and experience that. We all grew up on that.
Mm-hmm.
But, as we watch college football, it almost feels like the dynasties are just going to keep getting,
even
wider.
better.
And, you're going to have your Alabamas, your Clemsons, your Ohio States.
As always.
And Georgia.
And
then
the biggest brands will always have the most amount of players.
Yeah, and it seems like that'll never go away. So, the bridge between, those four teams is just going to keep getting wider and wider.
Yeah.
And, another thing that I don't really like about it is, Quinn Ewers. So, he had a ton of NIL deals at Ohio State. He left high school early to get the money.
So then it doesn't even affect his college, the amount of time he has. He just got a ton of money.
Really? So he still has...
He skipped a year of high school to go.
Why would you do that, though?
Well, here's the thing.
I feel like I definitely would want my senior year
Yeah, definitely.
in high school.
Could have led his team, ended up losing the state championship.
Yeah.
Which he could have led him to.
It would have been the number 2 quarterback in the class versus number 1 in the class.
Yeah.
But instead, it was just kind of almost like a blowout. I don't even think it was very close.
No, it wasn't.
But, what was I going to say? What was I talking about?
NIL deals.
Yeah, no, but specifically.
Quinn Ewers.
Oh, yeah, okay. So, it's also...
That's the name, right?
Yeah. It's also, destroying some, small businesses. And, for example, Quinn Ewers, he goes to Ohio State and he signs an NIL deal and he gets, 2 cars. He gets, a truck and, a Mustang or, a Camaro, a car like that. So now he has these cars, right? And now he just leaves. So so this car dealership that's probably local to Columbus, right?
Yeah.
Now they've given away 2 cars and maybe possibly even paid him money.
for
So
him
what
to
is
go
his
play football
deal?
at Texas.
So like what?
So what he does is he'll post a picture and be like, "This is like the best car dealership,"
He'll endorse it.
and then they give him cars.
So he's gonna have that car forever now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
And
he's
he's playing football at Texas.
and so now he's gonna be in
That's confirmed?
Texas.
I
Yeah.
didn't even know about that.
Yeah.
Now
He's
he's-
at Texas with an Ohio State free car.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. It just feels like it's taking away from what we've always loved college football for, and what I've always like I could never watch and really pay attention to a full NFL season.
No. It feels like it's too much.
I literally just wait for the playoffs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
College football, they're going after one thing, and that's the national championship. Whereas
Mm-hmm.
in the pros, it's all this money. There's always drama. The slightest injury will take them out. Whereas in
Yeah.
college, they're doing everything to help their team, and that's it. Where now,
It does
how much,
kind of
how
feel
much,
like that now.
how much money am I getting?
Mm-hmm. And I mean, and you know, to go along with the injury thing, now we are seeing again because of the money they might get in the draft. You're having the best
Guys
players in
opt
football opt out,
Yeah.
right? So, so yeah, you're having the best players in football opt out of their bowl games, and
Which is crazy. I don't know. I just feel like it's
If I'm a senior, it's one thing if I'm a junior and I'm foregoing my entire senior year, then I'd probably opt out. But if it's my last game ever at this school
yeah,
that I spent all 4 years working my way up to,
but money is money though.
yeah, and you don't want to take that risk if that's what you've been working your entire life for.
so
But if it's a national championship on the line and
Yeah.
you have the opportunity to go down as like that guy at your school, I'm taking that all day.
So, like, for me, I don't blame any of the guys for
No,
leaving.
like you saw Matt Corral got hurt
Yeah.
and was carted off.
Jameson,
terrible.
Jameson
Jameson
Williams.
Williams just as the number one receiver in the class.
Why would you?
Towards
But that's
ACL.
the national championship.
Yeah, I mean,
That
you're
was
not,
the
you're not
national
opting out.
You
of the
have to
national
play in the
championship.
national championship.
But that just shows what can happen.
Mm-hmm.
Came from Ohio State, transferred, got his shot at Alabama, went crazy.
Yeah, blew
and
up.
then-
Absolutely blew up.
So
Towards
and,
ACL.
and so that's I'm not blaming any of these guys for leaving early because I feel like that's almost what you have to do. That's what like you're kind of forced to do, right?
Yeah.
You're looking at tens of millions of dollars. If you don't play one game, it's kind of like, well, duh, right? But that's just what I'm going back to is that it's all about money.
Yeah.
So I almost feel like we should be paying rookies way less than we are.
What's the
that's
rookie
what
contract?
they're
Isn't it
set
only
on.
like 400?
Like if you're a Trevor Lawrence number one pick, you're getting $13,000 or $13 million signing bonus.
Yeah.
That's not even on his contract. He's getting that right off the bat.
Mm-hmm. And that's what's saying zero production on an NFL field. And I know that like he was a crazy talent. He'll go down as
Yeah.
one of the greatest quarterbacks in college football history. But
He won't be anything in the league if he can't.
like so far, he hasn't really showed much.
But
right?
Yeah, but he got that
I mean,
$13 million
yeah.
signing bonus.
Exactly.
So it's kind of like he doesn't even like if you're him. I mean, and you're not doing so good in the league. Now there's just like there's no point in even trying, right? You could have if you saved just that $13 million and you just lived off of the $1 million of your contract or whatever.
Yeah.
You're set for
But
life.
a lot
I
of the
feel like
dudes,
you shouldn't have the NIL and then you can get all this money straight out the draft. I think for the NIL, it needs to be put into a fund
Yes, I agree.
that you get afterwards. That way, you work to get one, like your degree at college. You spend all 4 years working up. You get more money the more time you play. So that's like almost a more of an incentive to stay your senior year, is you'll get more money afterwards.
Yeah.
And then
definitely-
you can get that afterwards, pay off any debt you have, like anything like that, on top of being in the draft.
Well, that's the thing is that this could be like really good because what we could have is we could have maybe guys who didn't get full rides
Who
and
are having trouble. Their moms are having to work 2
Yeah.
to 3 jobs to pay this.
they're
just so
working
they can
after
play.
practice, but now they've got this fund, right? They take out a student loan, but
Yeah.
now they have this fund
That's the positive aspect.
that they can get after they graduate and pay it off immediately.
Like I saw many guys that used their first NIL deal and like distributed it amongst their teammates
yeah.
to pay off their
Really?
Yeah.
And I mean, that's what we need to be seeing, but it just seems like everybody is just so caught up with you know, how much money can I make? Where can I get the most money? That it kind of ruins it for like just everybody. Honestly, like coaches are being like good recruiters. If their school or their location can't offer
as much money as somewhere else,
right?
There's no point in being a good recruiter.
So like I'm a Nebraska fan, right? And we just got Mickey Joseph, and he's a great recruiter. He's already got a few recruits, right?
Yeah.
He's a great recruiter, but it's like, okay, you're trying to get somebody to come to Nebraska versus whenever he's in Pitt, trying to get somebody to come to Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
So it's like there's a big difference, and definitely for the NILs as well. Like, who are you, like, if you're a recruit and Mickey Joseph's trying to get you to come to Nebraska, and then but LSU is like, why don't y'all come down here? Well, what are you gonna do if your mom needs money?
Yeah, you're going to LSU.
Yeah, you're going to LSU. And I mean, I guess that's just how the SEC is. You know, they're just like by far the biggest brand.
Yeah, you're gonna go win a national championship there 4 out of 5 years if you're in that conference. You're going to be a first-round draft pick if you start your freshman year at one of these big schools like at Bama.
And so it's almost just like, so like for me, because I'm a Nebraska fan, I see like these schools that aren't as good, they're really being screwed over by it. As far as, just like kids aren't going to go there if they have a chance to make more money somewhere else.
Yeah.
It's legitimately going to be exactly what we said earlier. It's going to be the 4 teams always at every circumstance. Even Clemson had an off year this year.
Yeah.
But I'm sure they're big enough in recruiting. Oh, I guess they actually had a shitty recruiting year this year.
But y'all are about to bounce back. I guarantee it. I mean, just looking at like the preseason.
They signed 2 guys out of nowhere in the last 2 days.
Yeah.
I mean, you got a 4-star out of Irmo, South Carolina, and then you got the number. He's gonna be a weapon at wideout, and then you got
Myrtle Beach.
You got 2
Adam Randall from Myrtle Beach,
Antonio, and then Adam will be crazy freshman dude.
And now you have the number 1 quarterback recruit coming in, and even if he doesn't start over DJ, I'm sure he will.
He will get PT, and he can redshirt if he needs to, and he'll have all 4 years after that.
Do you think Dapper will start him over DJ? Eventually?
I think I think it might end up being like that Kelly Bryant situation.
Okay,
his junior year, he goes in, he's got the number 1 freshman behind him, and he's not consistent.
Trevor wasn't there yet.
Yeah, he was.
He was, and he transferred. Yeah, you're right.
The 4th game after Trevor started over him, he was like, "No, I'm not doing this," and he walked out on the team, and we ended up winning the national championship that year.
Sucks for him, but you see, I was thinking more of the Cole Stout, Deshaun Watson, where against Georgia in I think it was 2014. Cole Stout started and he played the entire game. Deshaun Watson went in, and within the first 3 plays that he was in, threw a touchdown pass. But Dabo was too stubborn to start him until like North Carolina. So.
And that ended up working well. But DJ, I don't agree with like the whole Tyson. That situation, Tyson should have started a lot earlier. Then he didn't get his chance. He was there 3 years. He's a redshirt sophomore.
Well, I feel like that's like Dabo's thing though, right? Yeah, Dabo's a player's coach, right?
Yeah, he's next man up mentality, but
which
DJ
comes up to bite him a lot.
Yeah,
and you see the transfer portal too.
Yeah, he's got 3 guys. He's got like 9 receivers that he can play, and none of them are getting PT. Until we've got injuries all across the board. But that next man up mentality, I don't agree with it sometimes. Usually at the quarterback situation. Because Tyson, who came in before DJ came in as, I'm this 6'5", 200 whatever pounder from California.
That just sits like a bump on a fucking log, dude. It sucks so bad. I hate that guy. I hope he sees this.
Hey, don't say that, bro.
Nah. I mean, that is bullshit, bro.
And he played consistent last year whenever he got his chance against Notre Dame.
And
although they lost, that was a great Notre Dame team that ended up making New Year's Six bowl.
Did they not make the playoffs? Because I thought we beat them in the playoffs.
No, we beat them in the ACC championship.
That's what it was, because they were in ACC.
Yeah, and then against Boston College, he led them back. Crazy comeback. He had like almost 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns in 2 games that he played. Whereas this year he had 9 touchdowns and like 1,500 yards in an entire season.
Yeah,
And
along
how
with,
many
like,
picks?
Along with like 9 picks.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like we've seen like glimpses of him playing good, especially last season.
And so that's why
He's
there
a
wasn't
talent.
much of a worry coming into this year.
Yeah.
You're 6'5", and you have a cannon.
You're gonna be good, but it just didn't work ever since that Georgia game where he
seems
quite literally threw the game away to the other team.
to the national champions, mind you.
Do you think that game had a big impact on him and also like
the entire team?
Yeah, the team. Do you think?
I think if Clemson wins that game, that's a booster for the rest of the year. Because then we ended up going 1-2, 2-2, and then we lost what three regular season games. Yeah,
we were 10-3.
Well, yeah. So like y'all lost by 3 on a pick 6 to the team that ended
Lost by
up
7.
winning. Yeah, 7 on a pick 6 to the team that ended up winning the national championship.
So, and that team against Georgia was our completely healthy team.
But it was also a different Georgia team. Stetson Bennett didn't play. It was
JT
Daniels.
and Stetson Bennett is also another great talent that I really like.
Yeah,
But
that's a good story.
There were also that was Georgia's pretty much full team. They
It
had
was.
no injuries. Clemson had no injuries, and then within the next 3 weeks, Clemson has their number 1 guy on defense go out, and then obviously a guy freshman that they had great glimpses of, Will Taylor, in that Georgia game where he got his debut, and he went off, had a kick return. I think it was like next 2 weeks against SC State.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Had like a really long one. And then, he goes out.
He did. We can cut it out.
No, we're not cutting that down.
Then he goes out
We're
and
putting it on TikTok.
it's just like another blow to the team, you know what I mean? Back to Stetson Bennett, I mean, what a story with him. Came in, he walked on at Georgia, was forced to transfer
to what? It was like a
JUCO.
It was a JUCO.
It was a JUCO school.
Led them to like a national championship or something, I think.
I think they won the national championship.
I'm not 100% sure.
But
it
and
was
now,
something.
is he a senior or?
Yeah, he's gone.
So
he was at Georgia the first time I believe they played Bama in that Devontae Smith's freshman year where he caught it in overtime.
It was something because Jake Fromm got hurt that year, I feel like. This Stetson Bennett came in before another year.
He came in 2017.
Okay, my fault.
So that was the off year whenever Clemson made the first 2, didn't make it, and then made the next one.
So
Yeah.
is he declaring for the draft?
Oh, I believe so. I don't think
He won't go very high, huh?
No.
He went to junior
So
college.
who will go? Matt Corral first, right? First quarterback, I mean.
Yeah.
If he would, how is
There's
it?
a- this
What
is-
was his
it's-
injury?
It's kind of a.
Oh yeah, he did.
It's nothing serious. It'll take it. They
You
are
think
saying
he's alright?
he's making a full recovery.
All right, so
soon.
the number 1
He's got-
overall is probably gonna be Will Anderson, or what's his name? That's his name,
yeah,
right?
from Bama.
The end
31.
for Bama. Yeah. I think that's his
I think
name.
yeah. He's
Jaguars
just
have first pick,
That's
right?
what they're and Jaguars need help everywhere. I mean, which I think guys like him are like guys with versatility like that can play anywhere. They can play safety, outside linebacker, inside, D end.
Yeah, because he's like, whenever you look at him, you wouldn't think he's a D end. You'd think
No.
maybe like outside linebacker type
Like,
player.
he can be like a nickel, play coverage.
Yeah, and he's fast, but he also hits. He gets off
He's
the block.
huge. He's long.
Yes.
He's lanky.
He's like that perfect kind of what you said, like a nickel, right? He
Yeah.
can drop back if he needs, but he's also going to be able to play in the
Which is
trenches
what
a
they
little
need
bit.
in the NFL. Is
Yes.
what they're looking for. Guys that just you can put anywhere on the defense and help.
So, do you agree that he should have been there instead of Hutchinson, or do you think that they both should have been
I
there?
think Hutchinson had a great couple of games
He-
which got him up there.
He's more of like a true DN though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I
that's-
think he's not as versatile.
He's not as
I
versatile
don't
at
think
all.
he's electrifying.
Yeah.
I really don't.
Well, that's
Which this year's Heisman class, there just wasn't that guy that I saw.
There wasn't like a Lamar
you can't-
Jackson.
You can't stop it.
Yeah.
Your
Yeah.
entire game plan is we got to stop this guy to win the game.
and that's what we've had in the past. In the past, we've had guys that
Lamar Jackson.
if there was
Derrick Henrys.
if there was a chance, like we've had certain Heisman classes to where it's like any other year the other guy would have won.
guy would've
Like
won. Deshaun
with
Watson,
Trevor Lawrence as
Deshaun,
well,
yeah.
and Tua, like people like that, like great quarterbacks you had to plan for.
Peyton Manning.
And like no disrespect to C.J. Stroud, I think he's a really good quarterback.
Great quarterback.
He's a freshman too, so he's
Is
gonna.
Bryce Young a freshman?
He's
He's a redshirt.
No, but
freshman.
he's redshirt.
Yeah. So they're both freshmen, I believe.
Yeah.
And so yeah, no disrespect, C.J. Stroud or anything, but I mean, and there's a little debate because
You obviously see what he did in the Rose Bowl and
Yeah.
then how Bryce Young kind of threw the game in the national championship,
Let's go back.
But if you're judging before the playoffs,
which
right?
is
Yes.
what you have to
Which
do.
is what that's just what it is. And now I think that they should just move it to after.
Like
Yeah, why
so
don't
like
we have
Deshaun
it
Watson that 2016 year, it was between him and Lamar.
or was
Like
it Baker?
Lamar was obviously great, but he couldn't lead his team, which I feel like is a big part of it. Like you have to be able to pick your team up and take them farther than they actually do. He was just a great player on a bad team, whereas Deshaun
I don't know
was a
they're
great player.
bad.
They weren't great though. They were a lot.
I
better the
mean,
year
it
before.
was definitely, if you watched them play, it was definitely like the Lamar show.
Yeah.
And I mean, there were many times where
Which is why he won the Heisman.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and there were many times though, like the plays were breaking down, nothing was going for
and
them.
he turns it into a 50-yard touchdown.
Yeah, and that's just what he did. So, and there's just times like that. And going back though, like so, Bryce Young, he may have not had the numbers that Stroud did, but if you watch him play, it was rare that he made a bad decision.
Yeah. He
And-
was that quarterback typical guy.
And I think that if Stroud had beat Michigan, and Stroud didn't even have a bad game against Michigan, but as an Ohio State quarterback, to lose to Michigan,
In your freshman year.
it's going to
really.
take something away from you.
Yeah.
But if you are an Alabama quarterback and you beat Georgia in the SEC championship,
By a
and then
and
then
you put on
and
a
then
show
it's-
too.
And then it's Heisman. You're obviously gonna
Yeah.
have.
If the next week is Heisman, then you're going to get the
Yeah.
go ahead.
Whereas Stroud's last opportunity to show was a loss to Michigan, and then Bryce Young obviously shows
also
out.
went to Georgia.
So out of this quarterback class going into this draft, who's y'all's like pick to actually do something in NFL?
Well, I think all these guys they're just undersized. Really, Matt Corral's not huge. Liberty, Malik Willis.
Who's what's
He's an athlete.
who's
but-
Pitt's quarterback? I forgot.
That's
his name.
Kenny
Kenny
Pickett.
Pickett.
Kenny
That's,
Pickett.
that's
Kenny
my
Pickett.
pick.
I think
He's
yeah, I think
he is my dark horse, bro.
Yeah,
He
I
really
think-
is.
yeah.
He's mobile, but he's not just mobile.
He's an interesting
yeah,
kind of player.
I think he's smart.
Mhm.
He reminds me
knows
of
what he's
Joe
doing.
Burrow, low key.
He
The way he
does.
moves.
The way he moves, yeah. He's got
Obviously doesn't have,
he's
like-
got a gun for an arm.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's just like a smart, and he's a fun player to watch.
He
I mean,
is.
that ACC championship, that fake slide was just
That was crazy.
Insane.
yeah. And so yeah, I think
He's creative.
he's a fun one to watch.
I don't think he'll
I
go
think-
higher than Matt Corral.
He-
No, he
won't.
definitely won't.
But I think those guys that always go high, they don't end up.
But then
Yeah.
again, you think what was that one class with Daniel Jones and Dwayne Haskins?
Yeah, that class was just.
Well, did y'all expect them to draft Daniel Jones at all? The Giants?
No,
He
I
drafted-
was for
I-
sure.
I thought
Dwayne
he'd
Haskins.
Me
for
too.
sure go after Haskins.
Me too.
Yeah,
But they
and then
didn't.
They took him.
So what if
And
someone
then-
takes a
and-
chance on him?
Exactly, but none of those guys really showed out.
Nah, Dwayne Haskins is awful.
No, he is.
Daniel
And
Jones is
especially after
okay.
seeing his attitude
He's a
after
si-
that.
yeah,
I
he's
I don't like that.
That's Ohio State player for you.
Some draft classes are just really they're off. I think this year is one of them. Like there's
It's just
great-
weird.
There's great.
Well, we
players,
might get to see,
but there's not that number one overall.
Yeah.
Jadeveon Clowney, Myles Garrett,
Yeah.
like stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. So I think what we'll see those, we might see some players that maybe did go a bit more unnoticed in college football, and we'll see them actually show out and like kind of like show out from the beginning. Because what we get a lot of times, we have players that maybe they aren't a superstar in college, but they put in work,
and they translate.
Yeah, and-
to
and-
an NFL team.
right?
Fit the system.
But normally we don't see that happen. You know, we see them get put in year 4, and they do good, and now they're that guy.
Yeah.
But we don't. But I'm saying with this season, we might see a guy under the radar in college football, and we might see him work and get better, because he might start day 1 on the NFL team.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So I think that Will Anderson will go 1. Hutchinson will probably go 2. Who has the second pick? Lions.
Well, I think it is.
Obviously, I don't think that the last 18 teams or whatever. And yeah, it's Jacksonville, Lions, Texans. First 3.
Well, Texans, I don't even know what they need. Because they got, obviously, a top 3 quarterback in the league before this whole
So
scandal.
is he still there?
Yeah, they won't let him go.
That's what he's trying to do. He's trying to leave. Texans
So
Lions.
he wants to leave.
Yeah.
Where does he want to go?
I just saw something that said that the Browns were the best option, which this thing from Baker Mayfield, not like what happened. With
He just
that?
dropped off. He's awful.
Is he?
He's terrible.
Dude, and
I like after the thing with OBJ and like him leaving. Like I didn't think Baker. I thought he was on like a come up.
well,
But I
Baker,
guess not.
at the end of last season, they talked about Baker as a franchise quarterback type guy.
because he had a crazy game against the Chiefs. I remember.
Yeah.
He barely ended up losing.
I honestly like Baker's
Yeah.
mentality. I think that it can come up to bite him a lot,
Yeah,
but I
it
do like
definitely
he
can,
does
but
kind of have
he
like an
gets-
underdog
Yeah.
thing, and I like it.
Yeah.
I really do.
But I think
Some people see it as being a punk.
I think
That shit's
Deshaun
just great.
Deshaun needs out.
You think?
For sure.
Yeah. I mean the Texans franchise is just.
Well,
it's-
who needs a quarterback right now?
The Texans do.
The Texans need a quarterback.
The Falcons.
So do you
the
think
Falcons. I would
the
like to
Falcons
see
would be
him
a good
go
option?
to his hometown team, the Falcons.
This is Georgia.
Matt Ryan's obviously going. He's going to be out the league soon. He's
Yeah.
not playing as he used to.
And it would be good for, I think, who are we talking about? I think it'd be good for
feel like
Deshaun
Steelers.
to go to the Falcons or Big Ben's done.
He could really go anywhere that this entire era of quarterbacks.
Like
Roethlisbergers,
even like
the
Green Bay,
Ryans,
right? Because
Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron
But they already
Rodgers-
have that guy. They already have their
they've
backup guy.
drafted
What's his name?
Jordan Love,
Yeah.
Yeah,
What's the
that's
other guy
right.
that plays at
Yeah.
San Francisco? What's his name?
Jimmy Garoppolo.
No, the backup.
Trey Lance.
No, Trey
Trey
Lance.
Lance?
He's starting.
Okay, so Trey Lance. I always got Trey Lance and Jordan Love mixed
Yeah.
up.
Trey Lance is.
Because then somebody in that draft class, he was in that Haskins draft class, right?
Who was?
Trey Lance, right?
Dude, I don't even remember him being drafted.
And they took
He
him
was.
before
He
Haskins.
was.
Did they? And
Yeah.
everyone thought they were crazy.
Trey Lance.
Well, Haskins, if you
No.
look at it,
Trey Lance was drafted last year.
I don't remember.
Yeah, he was.
I do not remember.
Who
I
was
swear
in
he
the
was.
quarterback class?
Maybe it's Jordan
Well,
Love.
that's what I
drafted
mean.
this year.
That's what I mean.
Look it up.
He was drafted this year.
Look it
Yeah,
up.
I'll
Look up
look
Trey
it
Lance.
up.
Panthers need a QB.
They do. A Deshaun of the Panthers.
A lot of teams need a QB this year.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like this
That's
draft
what-
class has a lot of great talent at quarterback.
No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
I think this draft class is one for the receivers. You've
Who's-
got
Yeah, definitely.
You've got Olave. You've got
Mm.
Williams.
Jameson, Williams, and then you got
You've got,
Mechie.
Are there any good O linemen?
John Mechie's staying his senior year.
Oh, he is? Wow.
I think he will.
Has he not declared?
I don't think he has.
Wow, that's surprising. But you also got Garrett Wilson.
Garrett Wilson.
What's the Pitt guy?
Pitts. Yeah,
Kenny Pickett.
That won the
No.
won the Biletnikoff.
Yeah.
There's just guys everywhere. There's talent everywhere.
Yeah, so I don't know about the offensive line though. I haven't seen much as I normally do.
Nah. I actually do not know a single one.
O-line?
Usually Bama has that.
What are you
one.
looking for?
Oh yeah, Bama. I think he's the right tackle this year. Maybe he's the left tackle, but they were talking about him. I'm pretty sure he's really good. I forgot his name.
The thing with Trey Lance was able to lead that North Dakota State team. I think they went 4 straight
Mm-hmm.
on their 9.
Didn't Carson Wentz do the same thing?
Yeah.
But Trey
That's
Lance
crazy.
didn't throw a pick.
So he went.
Really?
He was the star player at
Oh, wait.
FCS North Dakota State.
Yeah.
And would you rather be
Star player?
you start at a good Power 5 team, or would you rather be that star player at a James Madison and NDSU, a place like that?
Big
Okay,
FCS schools?
Here's what
size FCS.
this is
think you
funny
would-
that you say that though, is because I think that's what Travis Hunter was looking at.
he wants to be
Travis
that
Hunter.
guy
Travis
on
Hunter
campus.
is gonna get. Yeah, especially he's playing.
Which I
FCS.
don't. I never I never looked at him as being electrifying.
I know.
He's raw, bro.
Like,
He is. No, but he
he's
is.
good, obviously, but I never looked at him as being a game changer. Like, how is this guy one of the greatest recruits of all time?
And you know, he didn't even play most of his senior season.
Yeah.
But what he did play, I mean,
He showed out, really.
yeah, you know that team
But-
against that they played in Vegas that they ended
the
up losing
Washington
to?
team.
Yeah. So he had like a touchdown,
That was just nuts.
and I'm pretty sure he had like a pick as well.
He's just an overall athlete, and he can play literally. He can't play anywhere, but he can legit. He can play.
He just looks lanky to me. He doesn't.
Well, he's gonna put on muscle in college.
He will,
and
but that even like the Under Armour All-American game, whenever he played against the best of the best, he wasn't even in the top 10.
well, what if he?
Who
Yeah,
was?
I mean,
Was Antonio on?
Yeah, he was number 10.
Travis Hunter wasn't.
Evan Stewart was up there.
I'm sure he was.
I'll look it up.
Yeah.
Did you see
I
that
can't look it
the offensive tackle that's going to Clemson from Spartanburg? He was
Spartanburg or
Greenville?
Greenville?
Greenville.
He wore number
in-
69 in the yellow. That junk was tough.
He was in the All-American game. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, South Carolina had a combined like 5 guys go. They had Tony, Adam Randall. They had Colin
guy.
Sadler.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
had Jaden Lucas from Malden, who's committed to Clemson, that went up like 5 feet in the air and got that pick.
That was him.
Yeah,
Mm. Yeah, that was a very good catch.
South Carolina was definitely represented.
Wait, and it's funny though is that how many of those guys are committed to South Carolina though?
CFB something.
You heard me, Will?
What?
How many of those guys are committed
Go to mine.
South Carolina? Or any of them?
No.
And that's the thing is like South Carolina I think is definitely on the up. They had a really like as far as the university,
CFB.
they had a really good game against North Carolina. They looked much better than North Carolina, but
Scroll.
now it's like they still are struggling to get the best in our state to
South
go there.
Carolina?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they had like,
Which they're really on a rebuild with
Yeah.
Beamer coming in.
and I really like Beamer. I think he's
I
I
think he's a game changer.
he's like a player's
They
coach.
haven't had that guy to come in and change the program.
Yeah.
Muschamp was supposed to do that, but he obviously didn't
Muschamp.
perform.
Proven himself time and time again that he's not that guy.
And the thing is that with Muschamp is he never seemed like as in it. He never seemed as committed to the
No.
players
As Beamer is, and Beamer comes from a football family. He
Yeah.
knows what it takes. Obviously, one of the most legendary coaches of all time. Not Shane Beamer. What's his name? What's his dad name?
I'm not sure.
Paul Beamer? Frank Beamer.
Where did he coach at?
Virginia Tech.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, no. So they're not getting any of like those top recruits. So it's kind of hard to rebuild whenever you're
But
not getting.
You know who they did get? And I think it was a span of like 48 hours. They got 3 of their top transfers. They got
I saw that. Yeah.
Beal Jones, I think, from Wake Forest. Their running back who performed well this year, like one of the number 1 receivers in all of FCS. Went to James Madison. They got defensive end from NC State. So
Yeah.
they're getting experience.
Yeah.
So what would you rather do? We didn't get
Oh, we didn't-
answers
yeah.
on it.
Yeah.
So what would you
So
rather go
I
to?
think it really is hard.
I think either way
obviously-
you're making it to the league.
You are.
So if that's your goal,
The thing is, there's only going to be one.
But then again-
There's only going to be one Trey Lance, one Carson Wentz
Yeah.
that goes. So
But
the
if you're that guy-
odds,
but you're that guy. You said that you're that
Yeah,
guy. You're the
if
best
you
in the
are-
FCS.
I
What-
think I'm taking. It really is.
But then again, it's
difficult.
kind of like, yeah, I went to Ole Miss. Yeah, I went to
That's the
a
thing.
big
Versus
SEC school.
I went to this small
North
school
Dakota-
in North Dakota.
But then again, North Dakota State, that's an underdog story you could have
It
under your
is.
belt. I went to North Dakota State,
I
started in
worked
the
my
NFL,
way
and
up.
excelled.
Yeah.
I led this team to 4 straight. I don't know. It really is tough. I think I'd probably end up taking that route.
Yeah, I
It
think.
just depends on the offers. If these guys.
But do you want to live in North Dakota?
No.
Well, that's the.
I don't
thing.
want to go to college.
Do you
want to
live in North Dakota, or do you want to go to Miami?
No.
You know,
Yeah,
it's kind of
yeah.
like
Well, and that's the thing
there's
is
a
like
lot of.
I don't know if I would even want. I mean, just me personally, I don't know if I would want all the pressure of playing at a school like that. And I mean, I don't know. I'm not really into the whole school thing, so maybe like a smaller school would be better for me.
West Point, Air Force, Navy. Like those places, you go and it's free. You go, you serve your 4 years, and you're set for life. You're making great money. Once you enlist, you're already like highly ranked.
Okay, but the thing about that for me is like,
What
if
if you
your
die?
goal, if your goal is not to go into the military, it's just as hard to get into those schools as it is to go to an Ivy League school.
Exactly.
And the money is the exact same, right? So if you get into an Ivy League school, they'll pay for it if
Yeah.
you can't pay for it.
Yeah.
And that's how.
And then you don't have to serve 4 years.
And
Yeah.
and I mean, it all depends on what your goals are and your values, right? So, like our good friend Grant, his dream is to go to West
Let's call him
Point.
up. I'm just kidding.
Should we? His
No.
dream is to go to West Point,
Right.
and
You be like munching on shit, bro. You be like, what y'all boy doing?
and like he wants, and I think he wants to go into the FBI. I'm sorry if I'm misquoting him, but
Really?
and that's like a good path for him, right? He can play lacrosse at West Point. He just loves the school, loves the environment, and that's a good path for him. But for a lot of kids, who aren't really into the whole military law enforcement thing,
Yeah.
it's kind of just like if you can get into Army, you can get into anywhere.
Yeah.
Pretty
you have to
much.
get a recommendation from a state.
Representative?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not even know that.
Yep. You have to get recommended to go.
And that's just like, I might just be too scared to ask him,
Exactly.
And I mean, so it's just, it's really cool. It's like I'm sure it's a really cool experience, and everything like that. But for me, I don't know. I think I would go to the military, but I wouldn't go through the route of going to a military academy.
Yeah.
But the only reason I think I'd go to the military is if, like, this whole South Carolina School of Business thing don't work out.
So you just going to SCAD?
SCAD.
That's School of the Arts.
That's
Savannah.
School of the Arts.
I know that. That's what I said.
It's in South Carolina.
No, it's
South
SCAD.
Carolina.
It's
That's
Savannah.
SCAD, the South Carolina Art Department.
It's SCAD,
Is
bro.
that where you're gonna go?
Where I'm gonna go? Hell no.
You gonna play lacrosse there?
Okay, I can major in drawing.
Will,
I'm really
okay,
good at
drawing.
Will, the past, 2 or 3 days, I'm starting to think this dude is an artist, bro.
I am.
Okay, look.
He's an artist. Are you an artist?
I'm an artist.
We FaceTime him, right? We're about to get on the game, right? We FaceTime him.
Fortnite.
And he's just, playing on the piano. And I can understand what song it is. I was shocked. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
Right then, we're the next night, we're about to get on the game. He's like, hold up, let me make us a logo real quick. 45 minutes later, we got to finish logo.
You know?
So I'm starting to think that
I have
this
no
guy
idea
might need to go to SCAD.
What I want to do though, I don't know. I thought,
Bro, you can-
forensics are cool.
you
Drawing,
telling
I
me to
like-
listen to me?
Listen,
SCAD is an
I don't wanna go to-
NAIA, bro.
I don't want
that
to.
means full ride.
Full ride, and you can play lacrosse. That's where Max Williams goes.
I know.
So you going there?
No.
You going?
I actually would go there.
You know, I'm pretty sure it's in Atlanta.
Even though it's called Savannah.
Yeah.
It's definitely not. It's definitely in Savannah.
It's definitely in Savannah.
No, look.
Why would it be?
Yeah, so-
Atlanta and Savannah are totally
I
different
know
things,
what
bro.
Atlanta is.
Okay, will you stop doing that? It's making me uncomfortable. It is Savannah, Georgia. Dumbass.
No, I saw something.
Oh, you saw something?
I saw
in
something in Atlanta that said
So,
SCAD.
for the record, SCAD is in Savannah. I'm gonna list off some conspiracy theories, and y'all tell me what y'all think about them, alright? The JFK assassination. Was there one shooter? Was it Lee Harvey Oswald? And yeah, that's basically the conspiracy. Was there one shooter? Were there multiple people involved? And if there was one shooter, was it him?
So you're saying like
I'm pretty sure that there were multiple people involved. I think he was the shooter, but there's definitely more to have to take place in him.
So the thing that happened though that makes people is the bullet entered through the back of of the guy behind JFK's, or it entered through JFK's neck, and it went through, and then it came out and hit the other guy in the back of the head.
so it's from behind.
Yeah, so the bullet came in, right, it hits this guy in the neck, It hits JFK in the neck, but the bullet ends up going that way up. So a lot of people think, and that's the track it would have to go. So that's why a lot of people think that there were 2 shooters. One missed and hit the other guy, and one hit JFK. And there's also like a bullet mark on the pavement that wasn't there. There's a bunch of stuff there, but you know, I don't know a ton about it, so I think that there were definitely more people involved.
Yeah.
Probably more than one shooter. But yeah, what do you think, Jake?
I have no clue.
Did it kill the second guy that it hit?
I think so. I'm pretty sure it did. I don't know for sure.
Really?
Okay, 911 cover-up. What do we think?
9/11?
Yeah, I said 911.
What do you mean by cover-up?
Okay, so like, did the U.S. government know about it?
No.
No?
No.
Okay.
I genuinely think what the government says happened actually happened. Like,
I do too.
Okay.
I don't think they would
there was
let...
there was no security.
No.
There's not security like it was today. There obviously.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
I think it could definitely happen at that time.
Like, what are the odds?
Obviously not now. Like if that happened now,
if they
there's no way.
stage that, George Bush isn't going to be in a kindergarten classroom when that happens.
Well, what if?
Dude, that
What if
junk
he was, though?
is crazy. Have y'all seen the video of him?
Yeah.
Yeah, the guy comes over.
He comes up,
whispers
he's
and-
like, and then he just like continues on. Like, I could
reading.
not even imagine.
No.
But the thing is, there was a building next to the, like a few blocks away. Have y'all heard about it?
Mm-mm.
I think it was called Tower 7 or Tower 9. That could be completely wrong. I have no idea. But it was just a building, right? And probably like 30 minutes to an hour after the Twin Towers collapse, this building just falls. Like nothing hits it. And they said it was from the inside getting too hot. But none of the buildings around it fell. And then, and it was just a very weird situation wherever a building just falls. They have no reason for it. So a lot of people think that there were actually more than one, like, it was supposed to be that the towers got hit by planes. And then that caused stuff. But in reality, there were like bombs or things inside of buildings that were supposed to destroy the other buildings as well.
So why would the government set it up?
Why would they do that to their own?
Yeah, see, and that's...
I don't believe.
I don't believe it was a cover-up, but I think there's just always... It always seems like there's something like shady going on.
I would like to know the deepest, darkest secrets of the government. Like, quite literally, there could be an underground base 2 miles away, and we would never know. So, like, the Greenbrier Hotel, you don't know what that is?
Yeah.
In West Virginia, they played, like, an NFL has training camps there now.
Mm-hmm.
It was, as they were building it, a newspaper writer went in and took pictures and posted it. And nobody was, but there's a massive fortress under this really nice hotel. And the guy was able to sneak in, take pictures, publish it.
How did he sneak in?
Okay. And so
as it was being built,
so
so the security wasn't top notch yet.
So that's kind of crazy though, because who knows how many of those
They're
are around.
going to be everywhere.
And another interesting thing is that the government has always done shady things because they think that that's what's going to help us the most. So, for example, after World War II, we pulled the best Nazis from Germany. The smartest scientists, right? Rocket scientists. And I think Werner von Braun, right? He was head of NASA when we got to the moon.
Really?
And he was a Nazi. Like not a person in Germany who was just like, I'm gonna do this just because. No, so he was
a full-fledged.
He had a rocket factory, and each day they would hang the slowest working Jews.
Really?
So this guy is a Nazi, and after World War II ends, so to get us ahead against Russia, we basically bring him, and there's other people too, but he's the most notable one. And he ends up being the head of NASA, gets us to the moon, lives a great life, after murdering who knows how many people. And that's probably something else that's kind of interesting to talk about is y'all know about the conspiracy, like the Hitler to Argentina conspiracy?
Yeah.
right? So like, it's kind of weird because you're taught your whole life that Hitler killed himself in the bunker, right? But what actually happened was, well, I'm not saying what actually happened, but so Russia claims for tens and tens of years that they have the body of Hitler, right? They have him. Years later, a scientist comes in and he wants to do genetic testing. Russia's like, okay, right? The samples come back, and the body that they had actually belonged to a 30-year-old woman. So now you have this body that was supposed to be Hitler's for years.
How do they not see that?
Well, because it was like desecrated from the fire.
Yeah.
So
But
all
where
that they
would you
had
even
was
get that from? Like, how do you? Oh yeah,
Teeth.
there's this body on the ground. That's got to be Hitler.
Well, yeah, apparently, but that's the thing. Apparently, it was near the bunker or something. Along those lines, Russian troops picked it up, right? So
I watched something like this on Netflix or something.
So after they get that test, right? Russia has never let anybody test the bodies ever again. Right? So they have this. So, and they still claim, and we're still taught that, like, Russia has this body, even though genetic testing comes back saying that it's 30-year-old woman.
They definitely don't.
So that's interesting. And now I don't know if Hitler got away and everything like that. But what I do know, and this is very interesting. So his name, I'm pretty sure, was the Angel of Death. I can't, like, that was his nickname. I can't remember what his name was. But he was a Nazi scientist and doctor. And he was the one that would do the test on, like, twins.
Yeah.
So you take two twins, identical twins, break one of their arms. See if the other one felt the pain.
But like,
And he'd do these things wherever he would, like, just, like, abuse these kids. And he'd keep doing it over and over again until they, like, died. Because of how many injuries they had. I mean, he would take one's eye out, try to replace it with the other, switch limbs, like, crazy stuff, right? So he's
why
just...
not do that with, like, not people?
Because he wants to see if, like, the twins...
He was a Nazi, you said?
Yeah, he was Nazi. So he was doing this
That makes sense.
in like a place like Auschwitz. I don't know if it was Auschwitz, but these kids would get off the trains, right? And they'd be like, and they would be separating everybody.
They were Jewish kids.
Yeah, they were Jewish kids, right?
Obviously.
So he would be separating everybody, or the guards would. They'd be like, women, children over here, men over here. They see these two twins, y'all come with us. They take those twins back to him, and he does these tests. So basically, he is found on a beach in, I believe, Brazil, with his notebook next to him, like 50 years later,
Where do you
dead on
see
the
all
beach.
this?
I saw it on Joe Rogan podcast.
Gotcha.
It was a guy who's doing documentary about this, and he was talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, this guy is in Brazil. He's found dead on a beach 50 years later, married a Brazilian girl, just lived out his life. But here's probably the craziest part. In Chile, there are Chilean villages that speak German. Like, they wear the lederhosens.
What?
They speak full German.
No one knows how.
And, well, that's the thing. Nobody knows how. But it's
They
pretty
do.
obvious
I
that...
think there had to have been like an entire fleet
Yeah.
of people that came over, and South America was where they ended up staying.
Yeah, so basically this is what they think is that these Nazis that came over, and these are the ancestors of Nazis.
Yeah.
Like 2 generations later, and this guy he's talking about, I can't remember his name, but
Were they white or were they?
Are these people like?
yeah, no, they're white, like they're German.
Oh, so they're not like Hispanic.
No, they're
not
white.
Hispanic, but like Brazilians speaking German.
No, they're not any.
Really?
They're white, like they're Caucasian, like they're German,
White as hell.
right? And so
White as
so this guy, he's in these villages, right? Yeah, white as hell.
Mhm.
White as hell. He's in these villages, right? He goes into a parlor. On the wall, there's a Nazi flag.
Dude.
This guy, he's showing off his grandfather's war medals. His grandfather's a hero, SS badge. So what we have is pockets in Chile where we have villages that speak full German and are the ancestors of Nazis who like were full on Nazis. So it is kind of crazy to think about, because there's obviously some Nazis did get away. There was obviously a plan in place for them to get away.
Yeah.
So, whether or not Hitler did or not, I don't know. It's kind of confusing, but just what we have right now makes me believe that he didn't kill himself in that bunker.
I don't think.
But
especially since Russia claims, and they still claim
Yeah.
to this day, that they haven't, and there's already genetic testing saying that they don't.
Yeah.
So why didn't Russia just act like, oh, I really thought this was his body, so let's go try to find where the hell he is,
Well, and that's the thing, is a lot of people think that maybe they do know where he is.
Russia.
Or Russia,
Who knows?
the United States, anybody, right? They know that
The
he got
government.
away, but there's no way they could tell the people, yes, we know that he got away, we didn't do anything about it.
'Cause then-
Imagine the
yeah.
backlash.
Yeah, for
Imagine.
sure.
So now they have to kind of keep quiet, so it is, he'd be dead now, though.
Yeah.
But it is kind of crazy,
Unless
though.
he's not.
I mean, but there was something else that, oh yeah, so in this village, right, there's a hospital. And it's called Colonia Dignidad. Okay, and in this hospital, they do the same testing that they were doing in Germany.
For twins?
Well, they're doing them on just anybody, but yeah, still like the same kind of things.
Really?
That's disgusting.
But now they're doing it with South American kids. The natives.
Wait, is this recent?
No.
No, I think
Obviously
that
not.
the testing would have been done maybe in the 70s to early 90s.
Yeah, that's recent.
Well,
That's
and
crazy.
it was probably finished. Actually, it was probably finished in the 80s. I think that's when they've stopped. But I mean, there's a story about like this Chilean kid, and he's getting these things done to him that are awful. He's being like abused, like the worst things you can imagine are being done to him, right?
Mhm.
And he meets this girl who is a German girl, or like, she lives in Chile, but she's an ancestor of
Yeah.
him. And he's young at this point, and she helps him escape, and they get away. I can't remember where they go, but he's talking about this. He's like, this is recent, like this happened not very long ago. And it's like, if you go there, there's still a hospital. And the thing that's scary is that the natives would go there because they heard it was a hospital. So they get hurt.
Really?
They're walking into this hospital and they never come out.
Oh.
So that's kind of crazy to like think about, though. But yeah, so I don't know. For me, like the Hitler thing is kind of like, I don't have an opinion on where Hitler is, but it's scary enough to think that all of those people that did all those horrible things, a lot of them just got to live their life out.
Yeah.
And the government did not say a thing.
Yeah. Okay. The next conspiracy is Area 51 and the aliens. So how do we feel
Oh,
about
that. So I just saw a video.
I bet Area 51 is there's nothing in it.
That's
You
a
don't
cover
think?
up. They wouldn't let that just be.
A thing. You kidding me? There's definitely just
Everything.
a place
everything,
in the middle.
Dude, everything that it needs to be secret is secret.
Yeah. If you think about it,
Okay, but why have they not let anybody in there then?
Because it's a cover up. They want them to think. They want to attract all these people to Area 51. Oh, this is where the darkest secrets of the United States government are being held.
Mm-hmm.
and low
When
key that
really-
junk is
And like
in,
really like a few
When
miles
really,
away.
it's in a cabin in Maine.
Yeah.
Mm.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
It
they
really
want-
does.
You think
they-
that's what the...
Yeah,
that's what I think.
100%.
Okay.
The United States government is just, they wouldn't let that.
Yeah, I agree that there probably isn't a place. I don't even think, the government's done some shady things, but I don't think there's a place
For what?
wherever they do testing
Testing. No, I wasn't gonna say
on
that.
alien spacecraft.
I
What were you
don't-
going to say?
I was gonna say how how Will said they have it in a cabin in Maine. Like I know it's just an example.
Yeah.
But why would they not? Why would they keep all of their deepest, darkest secrets in one spot?
Exactly.
Yeah,
It's not even
definitely.
spread out.
It'd be spread out. And it's also another thing is that if that is happening, there's probably 10 people that know about it. Right?
Yeah,
Facts.
100%.
I feel like Trump is the type to know about it,
Yeah.
but definitely not Biden. But have y'all heard about the I can't remember if it was the Navy or the Air Force, but basically they're on this aircraft carrier, right? And there's like 3 planes they take off. They're on like a routine flyover, right? And they see this ship, like, and I think there were like 6 people in total that saw this. And it's on their charts too. They see a ship go from 80,000 feet
I did hear about this.
to
I think I
sea
saw a video
level
or something.
in less than a second. As fast as they could record it, it was there. So they don't even know if it took a second. It could have been instantly. So, and it's like 6 people that see it, and they have no reason to lie. They work in the military, right? And you know, did all 6 of them just come together and be like, let's just go lie about this, right? And it's on their machines too. So do y'all think that besides like Area 51, I think we all agree that there's probably aliens out there.
Yeah.
Do we think that they have been to Earth?
I think they're studying us.
You think?
Yeah, for sure.
100%. I just saw a video of, who knows if it's real or not, but there was this green flashing light in the air, and then all of a sudden you just see this green box-like thing open. The thing goes up, and it closes, and then it's just the sky.
So it's almost like it's like a wormhole.
Yeah.
So you like it's
it very easily could have been edited. But
yeah.
It was very convincing, which is really hard. Is like all this stuff that you'll see on the news is very convincing, but there's people that can make anything look real.
Yeah, definitely
Out there.
I mean,
What we're doing right now.
yeah. I mean, like we just scrapped this together, and
The thing is,
it could look pretty good by the end of it. So
the odds of us being the only living things out there is there's just no.
it's almost none.
There's no way. With just what we live in is too large for us to be a part of a small population.
And we can't even comprehend how big it is.
Yeah.
So
Saying infinity is low-key is just like until you can't see. And then you can't see, but there's still more.
So if you look up how big is the universe, it comes up with the observable universe. And the reason for that is because the light from our eyes, or that we're looking into the telescope, it's taking too long to get to the edge. So all we can see is the light that's bouncing.
It's crazy. Like it is so much. There's so much more to it than just looking. Like seeing stuff.
Yeah.
Like you just see it with your eyeballs, but
So-
like light's reflecting off of
Yeah.
this, and it's just nuts.
And the interesting thing about that is, there's our closest star is Proxima Centauri, and if you go there and you look on a telescope, and the telescope is like strong enough to see like individual humans, right? For example, and what we would see if we looked through it, because of how long light takes to get there, would be the Romans. So you are literally like time traveling, and you're looking back in time because of how long the light is taking to get there.
That's insane.
The light from now hasn't reached there yet, but the light from the Romans has.
Dog.
That's
But
insane.
okay, so I saw something like that on TikTok, but it was like if aliens were watching us, then they would see the dinosaurs right now.
Well, it depends on where they're watching us from.
Of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, then I didn't get it until you just said it.
Yeah.
insane.
So if they were watching from their planet, then yeah, they might see the dinosaurs. But if they're watching from inside our planet, then they're seeing us.
Yeah, that's crazy. I think time travel
Do you
can
think-
definitely be.
You think
Well, Einstein believed time travel is possible
I think it definitely is. Just because of light.
because he thought that you could. So the way that he thinks about space isn't flat, but it's like moving, right? So he thinks that if you can find a way or get to a place, and he thinks that space and time are one with each other. So and that's kind of hard to comprehend, but he thinks that if you get to a point wherever the space gets like close to touching, but it doesn't, if you go through one and you enter into the other, whenever it flattens out like a wave would do, you'd be
In a
different time.
Wow.
it's just
That'd
so
be crazy. It's crazy how small we are, dude.
Yeah, facts.
So, like, we're equivalent. So, us and I think it's our galaxy.
Yeah.
So, me in our galaxy is equivalent to a single white blood cell in the United States.
And that's just in our galaxy. I mean, there are an infinite amount of galaxies.
Yeah.
So it's just, yeah, it's unfathomable how large the universe is, and we're just like a small little piece of it. So I think it would be interesting. I mean, I kind of hope that...
You good, bro?
Sure, it's uncomfortable.
I kind of hope that, you know, there are
Stand
some aliens out there studying us, so at least we can become more intelligent or something.
Yeah.
But it is kind of scary,
That would
though.
mess up our entire idea of religion.
Yeah, and that's another thing, though, is that's why I have trouble with saying, like, I'm a Christian, or any religion for that matter, is because I think I believe in a higher power, but my God takes parts of all religions. And he's not like, you know, I don't believe that we are the sole project of God. I think that God made, like, the universe, and then we're Earth. But then there's another planet out there that
has their Earth.
And it's their Earth. It probably goes by another name.
Yeah.
Like, who knows? Like, we could get up to heaven, and
And
somebody could be like, "Oh, where are you from?" And you're like, "Oh, I'm from South Carolina in the United States." And they're like,
Huh?
"No, what planet are you from?"
Yeah.
Say Earth.
And you say, like, you know what I mean?
What if they look... But I don't know, it's just so hard, because we breathe oxygen, right?
Yeah.
And we can live here because it's the only... I think it's the only planet that has oxygen in their atmosphere,
Enough.
right?
And like,
Enough.
Yeah.
It's enough, right?
Well, like
And conditions, living
Yeah.
conditions. It's not.
It's
the
perfect.
perfect temperature.
Right.
Yeah.
So, how do you know that there's not a planet that's just as far away from the same type of star like the sun is? Like, how old it is? And the same exact, and has
Which
water,
is why
and has
the
oxygen,
odds,
and everything
the
like that.
odds of us being the only ones is just...
And
There's an infinite amount of really, like, chances for this planet to have these conditions.
Yeah.
And there's no way it's just one of them.
And the other thing is, there could be organisms that don't need the same things that we need.
Well, what's that thing called? It's
the
called
odds
like
of them being built exactly like we are, there's no way.
Yeah.
There's some like microorganism something that can live in space. They can live everywhere, but it can also live.
Is it at like the bottom of the ocean?
I don't know, but it's something called something bear. I don't know where my phone is right
Here,
now.
do you want to use mine?
Here.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's just definitely interesting. We have, like, a bunch of, like, organisms
Yeah,
that...
here it is.
Right. So it says it is a tardigrade,
Uh-huh.
and it says it's a microscopic 8-legged animal that have been to outer space and would likely survive the apocalypse. Okay, so this says that have been to outer space.
Yeah, they've been to space.
Like-
so we've
like
sent them.
took
We've sent
to
them.
space?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
and so they can live anywhere. Like legitimately.
Really?
Yeah,
Like
and they're alive.
They
So
would
they're not
probably
like a virus.
be like
they're
the
like alive.
start of an evolution.
Yeah. Okay, so that's the thing is like, do y'all know about like the theory that we came from Mars?
Well, it
Because-
kind of looks because there's rivers.
Yeah,
and
so
stuff in
Mars used to
I heard
have
about
like
that.
Mars used to have like oceans
Yeah.
and like rivers and and like they still have mountains, but it's like what Mars used to be like is what our planet's like now. It was like perfect for life. So if life was going to develop, it was going to develop on Mars. So, you know, I think that life probably did develop some form of life, even if it was like that. But, you know, who knows if it was even advanced enough. Because, like, eventually...
I saw that on like Wildcrats or something.
Really?
Yeah, when I was really little. I don't remember what show, but it was on PBS Kids.
I used to hate Wild
That's so funny because it always came on at like 7 or something like
I
that,
love
and I would
Wildcrats.
like make sure I'm on PBS Kids because
Yeah.
it's only one episode comes on at a time, and then after that it's more girls.
crazy.
Mine was Diego.
Oh, I fucking hate that.
I think I watched that, like, once. But we were talking about Mars.
Yeah.
Okay, and here's what I think is
Oh, yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
Eventually, we will have to go to Mars. Because the heat on Earth, because the sun is expanding. So the heat on Earth will be too
I'm scared to die.
much. Are you?
Mhm.
I mean,
I fear death.
I definitely...
I only do.
I definitely think about it sometimes, like, because it's the nothing. It's like
the nothingness. What if I'm just laying here forever?
That's the scariest thing.
Like, what if my soul goes nowhere?
Yeah.
But what if you don't feel it? Like,
Okay.
what if you don't feel a thing?
Yeah, but then you're not even gonna know. But it just seems like, wow. So they just give you consciousness for like 100 years, which is like nothing in the grand scheme of things. And then they're just like, all right, like that's your whole existence.
What for in a
80
simulation
years.
though?
Well, and here's the thing, right? So there's a toxin, or not a toxin, but a chemical that when you die, your body releases.
What is it?
Well, I don't know the name, but here. So
Junior guppies.
when you die, your body releases this toxin, and it's the same toxin that we find in the part of the brain that's responsible for consciousness.
So is that? So what are you saying?
So it kind of
you
seems
might
like
be-
your consciousness is leaving your body
Right.
whenever you die.
Which would mean that your soul is
It's
leaving.
still alive, so you're still feeling.
You-
But
No,
can you,
no. You're not still feeling. Your soul would not still be in your body, which is like your consciousness is leaving your body, so you wouldn't feel within your body.
yeah, no. So you wouldn't be able to feel, but you would have your thoughts.
Yeah.
Okay, but here's my thing.
But
right?
I think your thoughts would go.
Man, I have a feeling.
That's where the thing of like heaven goes.
Okay,
Like
yeah.
your soul is going.
But here's my question, right? You can be blind, but still be alive. You can have an arm gone, but still be alive, and that's a bad example. But the first example, the blindness, right? So, whenever you die, if your soul transcends or whatever, can you see?
Gosh, this is.
How would you? Yeah. How is like what?
Because we can go blind and then we can't see anything.
But we would know what things would look like. What if you're born blind?
If you're born blind, then you would. So that's my question, right? Is whenever we go to heaven or whatever, we're supposed to have all of those things like kind of fixed, right? And we go back to being healthy and everything like that. If you're born blind,
Can you?
could you imagine how scary that would be? Just
But would it really be scary? Because you have peace of mind.
Like that's your normal.
like that's your
That's
normal.
your normal.
That's
So, like,
like almost
that's like equivalent to us gaining a sense right now. We think we're normal,
Yeah.
but what if there's another sense out there? That
Imagine
we
aliens
could-
are like, oh, y'all ain't installed this yet?
Yeah, y'all can just do this. Y'all can't. Like, there's so many.
And then
things
they
that
like
we-
press a button and all of a
And
sudden
then-
we can, and we can't even comprehend that.
Yeah. Like, what else would there be? It's
Shit
almost
is
like adding.
non-fiction.
It's almost like adding another color to the spectrum. Like, you can't comprehend. Like, you think of adding a new color, you just think of colors that are already
Well,
there.
and
Like
that's
a
the thing
green
is
blue
we
or like a
Yeah.
we make new colors, but they're under a certain color.
Yeah.
right.
So
So
we'll
they're-
make like a new pigment, but
oh,
we can't.
this color.
we
We
can't-
can't make a new.
We make colors with the 3 primary colors.
Yeah. So imagine going to like another planet and there's just like a new color. You literally cannot comprehend that.
Mm-mm.
And imagine it's like you can't even make that color with the other colors. It's primary color. Like your brain would freaking break.
Yeah.
Be like,
That is
Freaking
crazy.
so I don't know. That's like a weird one. Is like,
Definitely.
like that's one of the things I think about the most is consciousness. So like we are able to, and there's no way to prove that you are actually thinking. Like I know that I'm thinking, but I have no idea, and you can't even believe if that's true what I just said.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, and like, y'all have got to watch the Truman Show because it's crazy, and it's literally what I'm about to explain.
I hop back on the 100, by the way.
I know I saw that. Dude, you gotta finish it. I'm about to wait a little bit and then rewatch it. 'Cause that's how good it is. Like I wish I could just reset my memory.
Mm-hmm.
But
Aliens can.
you think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely could be able to, but why would you want to reset your memory?
Maybe.
Like if you like
or-
see, what if like you see like someone that you don't want to see naked accidentally, and you press a button, and that shit
But I
just
feel like-
forgets.
I would never want to erase my
Mm.
memory.
I feel like I feel like
That's
if
some-
I'm seeing something, then I don't know how to explain.
that's something that comes up in the 100
What?
memory and stuff, but
Really?
not in the way you're thinking. But yeah, so so like, what if we are all in a simulation, right? But instead of like us all being in a simulation, only one of us is in a simulation, and all the people around us are just like fake. What if
So you mean saying, like, what if I was in a simulation and y'all are just...
and we're just like computer programming? You're the only real consciousness that's been put in.
Like, I feel like, I don't know, I don't think you can say it. I don't know. Because I feel like I feel like in everyone's mind, they're, and as bad as, like, it's not like, but they're like the main character.
I'm
Like,
the one
so,
alive.
So that's
Yeah.
that's the word. I think it's called sonder. Let me double check that. I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah. Okay. So it's the word sonder, and what it means is the realization that every life around you is as complex as yours. So we often just like don't even realize that all the people around us have thoughts and feelings and things. And one of the most interesting things I like to think about is you're driving on the highway. Think about how many cars you see.
Yeah.
All of
All
those
those people have lives.
All of them have jobs. All of them have things going on.
And we literally have no clue what their name is.
And it's like, so think about this. That's 8 billion, almost 8 billion, like, minds. And so that, like, if that was on a computer server, that'd be a strong computer server. I mean, think about that. It's 8, like, you're driving by somebody, and another thing I like to think about is I'm standing on the ground outside or something, and I see an airplane fly over. It's like, I wonder where those people are going.
Mm-hmm.
And then even so, now you're saying wonder where they're from, where they're going, and now you have to break it down by person and say why. Are people flying to see loved ones, business? There's so many different things. It's like everybody has loved ones, and it's kind of just overwhelming, like from a number standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
What were you gonna say?
No, I was gonna say, like, the simulation thing, how, like, it couldn't be. Well, all right, listen here. So you're saying, you said at the field one day how technology was, I can't remember, you said exponentially means it's going like this.
Yeah, so it's exponentially getting better.
So what if it gets very, very good, and then it's just gonna keep rising? So there's definitely a point in our time that technology can be just like how life is.
Okay. This is the metaverse. The metaverse is a fake life. It's a virtual life.
Uh-huh.
Okay? And you'll have neighbors. You'll have jobs.
Are they real?
No, so it's like
Like, are your neighbors real, or are they like another player of the...
it's another player. But somebody just paid like millions of dollars to be Snoop Dogg's neighbor in the metaverse. Swear to God.
What?
So, and here's the thing. All right, so Elon Musk has this let me try to look up what it's called.
How do you live in the metaverse? Or, like, how
It's
do you
like
do it?
virtual
VR,
reality.
yeah.
And now I'll explain in a second.
Well, eventually...
Here, hold up. Okay, Elon Musk has a chip called. He's coming out with a chip called the Neuralink. The reason it hasn't come out yet is because it's going to be kind of dangerous. It's super technologically advanced, and what I mean by that is, if you are blind, the chip goes into your brain, and the neurons that are broke that are making you blind, if they're not there, then the chip replaces them. And if they're broke, the chip pulls them together and you can see.
Really?
And this will work with people that are like paralyzed.
Dude,
Whoa.
how?
So
How?
so here's the thing. People get this chip in place. Now they can feel the metaverse.
So what do you mean?
So now you're in a virtual reality world,
But
and you can feel the wind that's in the world.
like, you're just sitting there down?
But
But
you're just
it's
sitting
not.
down.
But how do you move? Do you move in
It's
real
probably
life?
it's probably like VR goggles.
Okay.
So think
Would
about
you just move with your brain?
yeah.
Okay.
Because so think about it though. So now you have like you're sitting down on your couch after a long day of work, and you live a full life in what feels like an hour.
That's crazy.
Like and you can feel everything. You can feel every single sensation that we feel in real life or what we think is real life. You're feeling in this metaverse. So it's definitely kind of scary, and it's kind of snuck up out of nowhere. I feel like there was no talk about like we we had virtual reality, but it was like games.
Right, and it was just like throwing a basketball in a hoop.
Yeah, and now all of a sudden, 2 years later, it feels like, well, now you're about to live a whole life. Now you're about to have neighbors. And that's just kind of what it... And now...
Do you get to decide what you look like?
I think so. And there's also...
What if Snoop Dogg just becomes a little white dude?
I think there's also a way to, like, scan yourself. And like, it puts you in there.
Listen, what if you join the metaverse because you hate your actual life? What if you don't want to look like how you look like in real life?
Well, that might be what people do, and then they'll have a full life to live, almost. They could stay in there forever.
If they really wanted to.
Yeah, if they really wanted to. And the other thing is... What was I about to say? Cryptocurrency, right? Mm-hmm. So we have all these different kinds of crypto, but we can't use them, really, unless you, like, sell them to somebody else. That's kind of how it works, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Well, now, if you are in this virtual reality world, maybe you can use your cryptocurrency to buy stuff.
Huh.
Because it's all technological.
That's crazy.
So, yeah, no, it's definitely kind of crazy. Kind of scary, too.
Very scary.
Like, it feels like we are going off the biological train and we're going into a mechanical kind of phase.
What's that one movie that was like that? There's a movie and it's like the world... It was like an apocalypse and Ohio was just like a bunch of like little pods. You know what movie I'm talking about?
No.
I'm trying to think of it. But it was like exactly like the metaverse, like what you were saying. I forgot what it was called.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's very weird, and who knows if it'll even happen like we think it's going to. Thank y'all for watching the first episode of the Etc. podcast, and we'll see y'all next time.